There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
I'm sorry, Rev, you're still on mute.
Thank you all so much. Good morning. Something wonderful is happening in my life. I believe it. Something wonderful is happening here. I believe. Something wonderful is happening in this place. I can see it. Something wonderful is happening here. I can see. Something wonderful is happening in my heart. I can feel it. Something wonderful is happening here. I can feel. Something wonderful is happening in my life. I believe it. Something wonderful is happening here. I believe.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown-Atlanta, where you are welcome. Whoever you are, whatever path brought you here today, please know that you are welcomed and celebrated. We know who you are. You are an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. Your life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful, whatever your ethnic background, religious affiliation, however you came to know yourself and describe yourself, your pronouns, your gender identities. We're glad you're joining us here today. You are welcome to be a part of this community in whatever way serves you. And we'd like you to share this. So share this link on social media, whether it's Facebook, which is where we're mostly at, Instagram, and on our YouTube channel as well. So I'm going to say our vision statement, which is we are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle. Through teaching, service, and practice, we create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And now, our vision statement, our declaration of principles as declared by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the declaration of principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful. Hey.
Morning. So, a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. They've demonstrated they know how to bring about these changes in other lives when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they are available to you to provide spiritual guidance and support in those areas that you feel you need help and are looking for assistance on. You connect with them through our website, cslmidtown.org. And today we got one of our wonderful practitioners, Maya Fuller, to go give us some good ideas and an affirmative prayer called a spiritual mind treatment. Welcome, Maya.
Thank you. Thank you, Vance. Good morning, CSL Midtown. And thank you, Reverend Kit, for that fun and uplifting song. That was so fun. And I have to say that for me, something wonderful is happening here this morning. Something wonderful is happening here this morning. This morning has been one of synchronicities for me. In our adult study group, for which I am giving a plug, I'm really encouraging anybody who's interested in learning about the science of mind at a more personal level, at a slower level, being able to like go through the actual words of the text. We read it together on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. We have a great group of 3 different practitioners who rotate. Actually 2 of the practitioners are practitioners emeritus, Judy and Norma. That means they've been practitioners for over 20 or 25 years, something like that, really in continuous service for those years. And they know their stuff and they practice their stuff and they live their stuff. And the people in the study group are doing the same thing. And but what does that have to do with synchronicities? The synchronicities are that so often we find that when we are after the adult study group, we come to the service and we experience the message and we're like, oh my gosh, we were just talking about that in the study group. So that happens so often. And then today I experienced it happening the opposite direction, that what we were reading today brought up the conversation about how we forgive certain people, right? How we love the unlikable. And that is the topic for CSL global themes for this month, loving the unlikable. So it's just amazing how, life gives us an opportunity to kind of dig deeper and to really get the messages that we need and want to get for ourselves. And of course, our services here and also our adult study group gives us the opportunity to connect with one another in a personal, meaningful way. So I definitely invite y'all to join us. Check it out on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Another synchronicity that I actually set up was that I am going to talk a little bit about loving the unlovable. Just do a little reading. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to do a little reading that I'm getting out of the November 1985 Science of Mind textbook. So we're in November 2025, as y'all know. November 1985, the actual book is exactly 40 years ago. So I purposely said, let's see if there's anything in here related to this topic. And lo and behold, there is. This section, it was printed for reading for Wednesday, November 13th, 1985, 40 years ago. And it starts with this scripture. The scripture is from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household, right? So our only enemies are of our own house, our own consciousness, right? So sometimes it says, sometimes we may wonder why certain people come into our life, those who seem to create problems for us, whether intentionally or not. Could it be that in our own subconscious hostility or other negative conditions, could it be that our own subconscious hostility or other negative conditions have attracted these individuals to us? If only agreeable people came into our life, we would never learn forgiveness, and we would learn very little about ourselves. Through problem people, however, we can learn what is hidden in our subconscious mind, for they are our mirrors. Each person who comes into our life represents an aspect of us, and through each one, we can learn our lessons on love, life, and forgiveness. As a consequence, we grow emotionally and spiritually. This awareness makes forgiveness easier, and we can be grateful to those who are our disguised teachers. Through them, we have the opportunity to learn to love all people unconditionally and without exception. And as we gradually achieve this growth, we reap the immense rewards promised us by the great spiritual teachers. Jesus, for example, taught that when we seek first the kingdom of God, all these things shall be added unto you. So the topic is of the month is loving the unlikable, and the topic of this, the title of this is Teachers of Love and Life, and the affirmation that goes with this that I invite you to accept for yourself and to declare for yourself as we prepare to move into spiritual mind treatment is, my mind and body are filled with divine love. I am a channel for this love, and I let it flow through me to all people without exception. I am aware of the unfailing healing power of this love. And so it is. And thank you to Science of Mind, November 1985. The top is cut off, but the book remains. And I'm grateful that we have it to share with us today. As we move into spiritual mind treatment, knowing the highest and best truth about love, divine love. We've just reflected on the idea that even those who we find difficult may be the very people who help us grow. And so as we settle ourselves into this moment, we take that concept into our hearts. We breathe in the truth, knowing that there is one presence, one power in the universe, pure love, infinite and indivisible, expressing through all that is. This presence is not outside of me. It is not outside of anyone or anything. This presence is the basis, is the foundation, the essence of all that is. Everything and everyone. And so with that awareness, I allow my heart to soften. I become willing to see beyond appearances. Even those who seem difficult or unlovable are within this one life, just as I am. I don't need to agree with them or recognize the same truth or way of thinking that they have. But what I do need to recognize is that the same breath, the same life, the same essence of all lives within them and lives within me and lives within everything. So I choose to release resistance and the idea that comes with the idea of separation, and being against one another. I let go of judgment that creates separation and being against one another. And I open to the possibility that every encounter is here to teach me something about myself, about truth, and about love. And I take this to heart. And I say yes to growth. And I say yes to change. And I say yes to joy. The kind of joy that rises from within when I remember what truly is, that all is God and all is love. And with that, I bless myself and I bless the world. I choose to love myself fully, to honor myself, to honor my body, my path, my place in this world, and the path and body and path of everyone else in this world. I trust that I'm guided. I trust that I'm supported. I trust that life is always working on my behalf. And so with deep gratitude, I allow that to be who I show up as in the world. And I give thanks for being one with this teaching, this awareness of the oneness. And I allow great things to unfold. And so it is. Amen.
So it is. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning. Thank you, Maya, for that great treatment, that reading. By any measure, Reverend Kit Holmes' musical gifts alone are extraordinary, but it is the sheer volume of additional talents, creativity, and authenticity that explains the adulation she regularly receives from audience, clients, and peers for her keynotes, classes, coaching, and retreats. She's been sharing her gifts to the New Thought spiritual communities around the United States since 2004. Since her introduction to the science of my teachings in 1999, Reverend Kit has immersed herself in studying and living the principles of spiritual consciousness. Her 6 highly acclaimed commercial released albums of original songs reflect them all. She possesses a masterful ability to hide God in plain sight in lyrics that encompass the heartbreak and humor of both being fully human and divine without ever sounding churchy. On April 30th, 2025, Reverend Kit received her ordination as a religious science minister. Yay. She's also grateful recovering perfectionist who uses her recent experiences as a breast cancer and divorce survivor as teaching tools to help people rediscover their innate wholeness after significant loss. And music, live events, and online events, and creative collaborations that bring joy, peace, and healing in the world are Kit's ministry. And don't miss her inspiring and often humorous One Mind Wednesday posts every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. Facebook.com/Kit.Holmes. So welcome, Reverend Kit.
Thank you so much. Good morning. It's in your eyes, the questions of the ages. There are challenges and changes in everything you see. It's hard to trust, and sometimes the best of us can lose our way. That's why I'm here to say, I'm gonna hold you in the light, hold you in the light, hold you till you know again that everything's all right. And I'll remind you, as you are enough. I'm gonna hold you in the light of love. It's in your hands. There are angels in the answers. Choose your second chances. This is where you're meant to be. Don't second guess. Life will give you all the happiness that you deserve. Rest assured, I'm gonna hold you in the light. Hold you in the light. Hold you till you know again that everything's all right. And I'll remind you, as you are enough. I'm gonna hold you in the light of love. I'm gonna ask you to remember that you have everything you need. Every time you look into a mirror, 'cause no matter where life finds you, the light of love surrounds you. You'll always have the only words you'll ever need to hear. I'm gonna hold you in the light. Hold you in the light. Hold you till you know again that everything's all right. And I'll remind you, as you are enough. I'm gonna hold you in the light of love. I'm gonna hold you in the light of love. In the light of love. Good morning once again, everybody. Thank you for being here this morning. And thank you, Maya, for that beautiful reading and that beautiful treatment. It's exactly what we're talking about today. And holding someone in the light of love. The idea behind that in writing that song was what we do as practitioners, what we do as ministers, what we do as friends, what we do as deep friends and loving family is we hold space. We see the light of God in others when they can't see it for themselves. And sometimes that's us. And so we ask, we reach out, we ask for somebody to just say, hey, can you just, give me a minute, hold me in that space. And what's so important about this is that it is holding the space for someone else, asking someone to do it for us when the appearances and the conditions of life blind us to the spark and the light of God that's in each one of us, in all of us. And in that God light within every single one of us, it can never be extinguished. It is we who get the things in our way, the circumstances, the appearances, the conditions that block us from seeing it, block us from living in it, from flowing in it, from letting it move through us and as us. We are often conditioned, we are taught to fear things that we don't understand. When we think about little kids, when we see babies, when we see the little ones, and their sense of curiosity and wonder is limitless. Everything is interesting and exciting. Everything is just a wonder, a sense of the world. And we become, as we know, we become conditioned to fear things, and oftentimes fear things that not to fear, but to respect, right? We are often taught to fear things that really, there's no reason in living in the fullness of the expression of God, the fullness of life, that we should fear. So there's a difference. There's a difference between learning how the things that can harm us, the things that occur naturally, the natural laws of the universe, things that can help us stay alive, but can also kill us. So we're talking about things like the power of water. We need water to survive, but too much of it will kill us. If we drink too much water, we will drown literally from the inside out. We also know the power of water with flooding, with flash floods, and how destructive that can be. The same thing with fire. We teach respect for these things. We teach respect for being on the water, on the ocean, for things like lightning. If it weren't for the lightning, we wouldn't have gotten to electricity and managing electricity. Electricity, when misused, can kill us in many, many forms, right? So you get the point. So the things that we want to pull apart here is teaching a healthy respect for these things, but not that reactive emotional thing that teaches a child to fear the world, to fear being in the world. Ernest Holmes says in Love and Law, every living soul is a point of personified God consciousness, immutable power right now. We are not approaching the point. We are the point right now. And this addresses the light of love within each one of us, the light of love in everything, the light of God. The topic today is a monstrosity of misunderstanding. And as Maya mentioned, the theme for November for the Center for Spiritual Living is loving the things that are unlikable. I like to say the things that we fear, we dislike, right? So I'm going to talk about octopuses today. Like, what? Right? But here's the point. And that octopus is a natural being, a fascinating, brilliant being, a God creation, a spark of light in every shape and form. And throughout human history, it's also a being that has been demonized because they're not pretty. They don't have a pretty face. They have 8 arms. They're like kind of creepy, right? And slimy, and they live in the deep of the sea, and we didn't used to understand them. So the conditioning, again, the appearance is, in the movies and these giant, 80-foot octopuses that are menacing, that will kill us, they're man-eating predators, and, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to use this as the example today that the misunderstanding is so not appropriate. The fear is inappropriate. So I'm going to start with some fun facts about octopuses. Number 1, we know they have 8 legs. Did you know that they have 9 brains? There is the central brain, and then there's like a little mini neuron center in each one of its legs that will work independently. It doesn't need, like we do, it doesn't need the central brain to tell it what to do. So they are multitaskers, brilliant multitaskers, right? They have 3 hearts. They have a main heart in the center of the body that pumps the oxygenated blood out to the rest of the body and to the tentacles, to the 8 arms. And then there's 2 other hearts near the gills where it takes in the non-oxygenated blood, circulates it, right? That's how they breathe. They breathe through the gills, right? So octopuses just alone are, number 1, brilliant. We know that now through the study and the interaction with them. They are brilliant problem solvers. They are highly creative. They are escape artists. They can use those 8 independently, to multitask. They can open child-proof locks. They can, they're shapeshifters. They change color with their moods. They change color when they are feared. They change color to camouflage when a predator is looking for food. There's all different sizes. So the complementary thing that we see here is that there are a whole lot of things in octopuses that are very similar to humans. Some of them are introverts, some are extroverts. They can be playful, they are moody, they're mischievous, they're curious, and they interact only after trust is established. The other thing about octopuses is that it is said, or that's figured out, it's a species that is over 330 million years old, meaning they predate dinosaurs. They predate humans, and they have also got this great thing, if they're that old, the resilience factor, the strength. They are adaptable. They have survived all of the stories of all of the catastrophic things, floods and whatever has happened to the planet. They have survived 330 million years. So I have a special affinity for octopuses, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a story about that. Close to 30 years ago, as I was beginning a re-engagement with my higher power, with a spiritual practice, with exploring, becoming curious, having moved away from the faith tradition of my childhood, began exploring again. It was something that needed to happen in my life in general. I needed a spiritual practice. I needed a connection that wasn't the shaming, blaming, arbitrary, vengeful God that I grew up with. And so I went exploring. I got curious again. And I did my first shamanic journey. And if any of you are familiar with that, there are many forms of it, but this particular one was about finding my power animal. And I was living in Athens, Georgia at the time. And I went to this shaman, and it was like a 2-day thing, and deep, lots of long meditations and so forth. And on the second day was when we started to do we're opening to what our power animal is going to be. So I'm in this deep meditation, and I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm in this forest, and all this thing, and this hawk comes in, and I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. My power animal's a hawk. And then I got this, no, it's not. And the hawk flew in, and it was like going in through the whole, from the canopy of the forest through the whole food chain kind of thing, deep into the forest. And there was a tiger, and I went, oh, awesome. It's a tiger. And I got no. And the tiger in this meditation literally put its teeth around my left arm and dragged me into the ocean. And I was like, wow, okay. And way deep into like the bottom of the ocean. And there I saw octopus. And everything in my ego, in my psyche, in my fear, in my misunderstanding said, no, octopus can't be my power animal. And I got, yes, yeah, it is. And so rather than being fearful of it, that deep knowing within said, get curious, start to learn about this. So I studied, and then I got to find some things like that the octopus is a Celtic power animal, spirit power animal. I grew up in a long line of Irish Catholic folks. So what was interesting is now I got this power animal, and I don't know if you can see, well, you probably can't. I'm going to turn my camera a little bit just to see this thing on my wall. If you can see it closely, I can't zoom in, I'm sorry. It is a series by an artist in Athens, Georgia. Sorry. Her name is Lauren Breer, and she did this series called Robots in Rowboats. And this whole series had octopuses in them. And in this particular one behind me, the robot is in the rowboat. The octopus is holding the telescope, and they are both pointing at the North Star. So my house is full of octopuses, stuffed ones, and people have sent them to me as, because they know that's my power animal. Here's what the cool thing was. When I was putting this outline together yesterday, I never saw this before. It's been like 30 years, okay? I had this new insight that in that first shamanic journey, it was hawk, tiger, octopus. When I made a big move, a cross-country move earlier this year in June of this summer from Michigan, my home at the time, Santa Fe, New Mexico. And on the first night of my journey driving, I had an encounter with, I can only describe as spiritual awakening that involved a hawk that allowed me in an urban setting to get very close to it. The other thing that I noticed was in this, as I said, in Chinese astrology, tiger, I was born in the year of the tiger. Power animal became my spirit animal. Octopus, as I said, Celtic, Irish. So there are a lot of things that bring us to this seemingly not attractive kind of animal, but all of the things that they are as God's creation, as God's expression. There are many documentaries. There's recent ones. There's books, and my octopus teacher that came out in 2020 is a brilliant thing. Soul of an Octopus, the book that was referenced for the CSL themes for this week, by Cy Montgomery. There is a book that I highly recommend if you want to understand, and it's a fiction about a giant Pacific octopus. It's called Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I listened to the audio version of it. I highly recommend that because it gives you the perspective from the highly intelligent, highly creative, shape-shifting octopus named Marcellus. That's all I'm going to say about it. The narration is extraordinary. I highly recommend that. All of these things are here because we understand now. We looked beyond the fear. We looked beyond the conditions. We looked beyond the appearance of a frightening animal to realize, they have a lot in common with humans, and even as far as consciousness goes. So the whole point of all of this is stretching ourselves beyond what we think we understand. Moving beyond the appearances, moving beyond the fears, moving beyond the things that we have been conditioned or taught to think of as unlovable because we don't like them. And yes, that includes people. All the people, all the time. The mystic Hildegard of Bingen says, all living creatures are sparks from the radiation of God's brilliance, emerging from God like the rays of the sun, the light within. So our work, our purpose, and our teaching, our science of mind teaching, is one of remembering that everything, whether we like it or not, whether we're afraid of it or not, everything is of God. That's where we begin in spiritual mind treatment, the recognition that God is all there is, and we are an expression of it, right? So part of that is returning to that childlike sense of wonder. We are naturally inherently curious beings, just like octopuses, just like everything. And our work in the world is to go back to that curiosity, no matter the appearance, whether it is a homeless person, whether it is somebody who is other-abled, someone with autism, someone with a different skin color, someone with a different orientation of who they love and how they love, is to, rather than push away and say, it's get curious, have a conversation so that we find out that everyone and everything is just as brilliant, just as creative, just as moody, just as cantankerous or playful or whatever it might be. When they know that they are loved, when we know that we are loved, when we know we are not separate from that source that created us. And it is incumbent upon us to be a part of teaching respect. Respect for the things that, as I said, can keep us alive or kill us. And that includes people. It includes all things. A healthy respect and an understanding rather than just closing the door, pulling the shades down, hiding behind that and hoping something outside of us will change it, because we know it won't. We know that. And we know that even though the light of God is an expression in everyone and everything, there are people who do monstrous things. We're witnessing it in this time right now. We have witnessed it throughout history. And what I know, it is that separation, that belief in a separation from source, that wound that core wound is painful. And it is incumbent upon us to continue to see the light in them. Because what do we do in this teaching? We can't change the other person. We can't make them see the light within themselves. We can only do it in our own consciousness. That's where we do spiritual mind treatment, to see everyone and everything. That is the core teaching of what the master teacher Jesus did. He looked entirely beyond the conditions. The things that were called miracles that he performed, and the thing we know, he never took credit for them. He said, I don't do the work. The power and presence of God in me is the thing that does the healing. And he would say to everyone he healed, your faith in the power of that is what healed you. It is all consciousness. So our work, keep moving to the best of our ability beyond the conditioned stories. The stories that keep us entangled in separation and drama and hooked on the dopamine hit of emotional intoxication. There's a physiological component to this. All of those things that keep us from living fully and freely. All those stories that keep us in victim consciousness. We are not separate. We are not separate from God. We are not separate from each other. And this is our practice. This is our work. And we also know that powering over in order to make ourselves feel better, smarter, more in control, better, not separate, we know that's not the truth of who we are. So we hold each other in the light. We hold each other in the light. Sue Patton Thole in her book, The Mindful Woman, says, one of our soul's major purposes is to know, love, and express our authentic selves, to live the life we were meant to live and be the person we were created to be. However, our true selves will only emerge when it's safe to do so. Kind of like the octopus, like we do, we pull in. Self-condemnation, shame, guilt, and judgment send your true nature into hiding. It is only in the safety of gentle curiosity, support, encouragement, and self-love that your soul can bloom as it was created to do. Appearances, conditions, turn entirely away from it. That is the directive from Ernest Holmes. So many people, we miss the connections because the outward appearance says, I can't approach them, or they look too scary, or I don't know, or whatever it might be. It prevents us from seeing the brilliance. So, baby steps, practice. This is a practice. We live in challenging, stressful times. It is deep and sacred work to look beyond the appearances and courageously contemplate what the appearances and conditions are reflecting to us, what it's saying about our own consciousness. When we continually practice aligning with the truth that we are never separate from our source, all of that drama falls away of its own accord, back into its native nothingness, as Emerson says. And then everything changes. So it is our practice to see with the inner eye. Practice seeing with the inner eye, changing our consciousness. Everything is a lesson. Everyone is a... This is the deep spiritual work, by beginning to accept what is in this moment. Not like, yes, I want to change it. Yes, we want to do that. Looking at it with a neutral eye and just saying, okay, this is what's in front of me. I have a choice. I can change my consciousness. I can change the next moment of experience. I can stay right here if I want to. But it's knowing, of course, that when we change our thinking, we change our lives. Consciousness creates. Thoughts are creative. The poet Mary Oliver, I'm going to finish with this. She says, "To the beauty that is within you, my friends, I say, let it shine forth. This is a time of mystery, a time of deep healing. You are definitely going to be delighted by the strength you find while living fully in times such as these." I'm going to finish then with this song. Everybody's got a story. Lord knows I've got mine. All our pain and all our glory, all the masks we hide behind. I'm standing here in wonder at my faith in things unseen, holding back or diving under. There is no in between. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. But when my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can return to love, return to love, return to love, return to love. Deconstructing my defenses, dismantling my pride, making peace and mending fences with who I am inside. When I let myself go deeper, love is closer than my breath, my master and my keeper, beating right here in my chest. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can return to love, return to love, return to love, return to love. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, and everything I do, my heart is open and my mind is clear. Now I'm asking you to return to love, 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 return to to love, return to love. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Reverend Kit. An awesome talk, and love your music. So we'll see you over on Zoom in just a little bit. All right, thanks. So now it's our time for conscious giving. So if you would, you can go to cslmidtown.org/donate, scan the QR code that'll come up on the affirmation of prosperity right there. Say with me our affirmation. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me, multiplied abundantly. And so it is. I've got a couple of announcements. We've got next week, the 7th of December. I typed that wrong. It's the 7th. Is our first Sunday in person Sunday. So potluck next week. If you're in Atlanta, come join us at the Garden Hills Community Center. Reverend Dr. John Carnes. Somebody typed. All right. So anyway, Reverend Dr. John Carnes is going to be our speaker. Surrendering into Newness is the talk. And Maya definitely talked about the adult study group. So come join them for that at 10 a.m. on Sundays on the Zoom. You can get to our Zoom channel by cslmidtown.org. Scroll down to the bottom, click the Zoom link, and there's a code to get in for the passcode. So we'd love to see you over there having a discussion with Reverend Kit now and for the Sunday talks. Our affirmation of life is this. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you